Okay, today we're gonna just Annette back to us again. So we're gonna share about we have a couple of the program we have done before about hide and seek. Have you ever seen anything we have been discussed before?
If can you repeat that? If we have what?
I was just saying it's because we have some of the recording before. We have doing a lot of discussion about hide and seek from our program before. So I want to see if you have seen any of our program before. So just want to kind of break it down to see if you can share your thought with us for each program we have done before. So you can share that. Then I'm going to give you some of the highlights here from our program earlier. Okay, so do you remember what we have been done before about our first program for hide and seek? Is that your mom have the issue when she had dementia? Did she have a high food or something like that? Bobbie had told that before.
Okay. I shared the hide and seek where they're constantly hiding things. Now my mom's dementia wasn't really hers, was from an injury, from a brain tumor. And it just became forgetfulness at the complete end when she didn't know who we were. But things like the personal hygiene, how to bathe them, how to travel with them, how to even care for the caregiver, all the different aspects of dementia. I tried to cover as many as I could, but it's nice to have another perspective. So that's why I was so glad to see Dr. Austin on the call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, share about your view about hide and seek.
Okay. My mom dementia was onset. It came unexpectedly, but we have seen signs of it by um repetitive conversations. Um, she would put things down and couldn't remember where she put things.
Mhm.
Um, she's a very, very good cook. I mean, this woman who works in restaurants, and she would have been working for 40 years with Marriott, if you understand the Marriott. But she worked on not on the public side, but on the business side of Marriott, and their corporate offices, restaurants, or their kitchen. So she was like one of the head chefs there, and she cooked very, very well. She always used to get 100% A plus compliments on her cooking. She also cooked for her family and also for the church. But then things started to change in her ingredients, and we knew of this, and because how can a person that is very good in cooking, then all of a sudden the food tasted different? And then she would put things in there in certain foods that she would cook that don't belongs there. So that's when we are finding out that something is strange, different. She would take her medicine because she was a little bit diabetic. She forgot how to handle the device or the equipment of how to take her medicines or her blood sugar level. So we understood that things was changing. So therefore, that's why we had to take handle of her situation and handle of her assets and handle of her care. So how we understand that things was shifting, and it wasn't that how it was before. That's how we found out about that.
And then how do you handle it about seeking? Like you say you had flu or had something that you couldn't find and later on you find. Do you have that kind of experience?
Like one time we couldn't find her keys. We don't know where her keys is. Up to now, we don't know where her keys is. So, what can we do? There's nothing we can do. Um, we count that as a loss. We couldn't chastise her. So, where's your keys? She don't even know where her keys is. So, we couldn't chastise her. She continued to learn how to bathe herself. And then when we realized that, she couldn't do everything, we took a handle of that bathing. You know, I would allow her to help wash herself, but then I would come behind her and wash it better for her. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't completely took everything away from her. We still allow her to do certain things in the kitchen. Like if I'm in the kitchen cooking, I would say, Mommy, cut the tomatoes for me. And she would cut the tomatoes. I said, Mommy, cut the onions for me. She would cut the onions. But it would not be as fast as how she used to cut them. But at least we'd given her something to do. So therefore, we didn't completely took everything away from her.
Okay. So, and we did talk about something, I want you to kind of share. One of the topic we talk about is this sexuality, because I don't know that happened to your, because that's your mom, so I guess that does not really bother you. So she doesn't have any inappropriate behavior that you cannot control, or he changing her mood swing.
No, she
That
didn't.
at all, he does not changing that much.
Well, the only thing I can remember is that she would always smile. She had a smile on her face, and that smile kept there till she transitioned. There were times where she was saddened because of her loss. I think she realized that she lost someone that was close to her, and I know that she remembered when the time when she would remember, she would think of him, her husband, because like I mentioned in our last meet, we have a picture of him on our counter on her dresser. So she would look at the picture, she would stare at the picture, and I would see that she's saddened. So when I saw that, I would go and hug her and comfort her and let her know that hey, it's everything's all right. So that's the comfort and that's the care that I used to give to her when it came to that time. Um, but she didn't have no offset behavior like screaming, scratching, or spitting. She didn't have that kind of behavior. So I don't know.
Yeah, because your mother's considered one of the video I've seen from Taiwan TV drama. His mother, he's a doctor, and then his mother has dementia, and then his mother just like your mother. There's nothing changed. She become like just like a child. The growing basically just like they just be very, they still very kind. They still, it's just nothing changed. It's just like entirely just moves away from the age. You feel like they're aging, but actually like a power dementia. So it's like I think your mom is maybe similar to her. It's just like you become enjoy, you become a child, so she enjoy the childhood. She's elderly, but she's just like a child, and then he feel like he's carrying a daughter. That kind of
Well,
reverse.
I also believe what's in a person will come out.
Mhm.
If if you if you were a person that was kind and compassionate, it will zoom out of you, even in your old age. Even even when you're coming down to those kind of disease that a person is going through,
Mhm.
it will come out. So if you grew up being hostile and agitated and mean and this and all this, it will come out eventually because what a person is, it will come out. So my mother was a kind, kind, kind-hearted person. It zoomed out of her, so it came out of her. So I believe that what she portrayed when she was growing up as a young child to adult until she got sick, stayed with her. So I'm an honest believer of what's in you, whatever is your behavior in you will come out of you.
Bobbie, do you agree? Because I have seen you have seen so many different dementia patients. Do you think that is kind of contradictory for some behavior here?
No, she's correct. Generally, if that person had been a hostile person during their teenage years or their younger years, or if they had been a troublesome person, they may have changed, eventually becoming a nice person. But when they go into those stages of dementia,
Mhm.
that side of them will show.
Mhm.
And people will wonder, oh, well, wait a minute, I never knew she could cuss like that. Or I never knew that, she would slap somebody. Well, it was in her and it will come out. And I'm seeing that with my client right now.
Right.
My client is very hostile,
Mhm.
wants to scratch and bite. And that's because it wasn't that she was mean, but she had an authoritative position where she was used to being the boss and giving the orders. And if you didn't follow the orders, you suffer the consequences. So this is coming out in her now.
Mhm.
Hmm. I see. All right. I didn't want to talk about this is kind of very sad topic, but it's kind of gradually we're gonna go there. So when your mother in the end stage, how did you handle it? How did your family handle it?
When she was in stage,
Right, like it's close to the end.
close to the end, well, we were patient with her,
Mhm.
very patient. We would we show a lot of empathy and
Mhm.
we show a lot of compassion, and that's the time we show her a lot of love.
Mhm.
Um, I saw the signs that she was going,
Mhm.
and I didn't want her to suffer anymore. If you understand that,
Mhm.
I didn't want her to stay in that stage because, like mentioned before, she couldn't do anything for herself anymore. She couldn't talk, she couldn't move, she couldn't. But we saw because of her brightness of her smile, that's what kept her. If you looked at my mother, you would never know that she was sick with dementia because of the peace and the glow that was on her. Until one day, I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna use this in the spiritual sense.
Mhm.
I looked at her, and that's when I realized that God was telling me, I'm getting ready to take her. So prepare yourself, right? And when I saw those signs and I realized that God was getting ready to take my mother, I got started to feel like I'm gonna miss her. So I remember the day before, I get very emotional when I think about it.
I
But
know everybody does.
I remember the day before she passed, that was New Year's Day,
Oh my goodness.
the last day that she I went to her and
Mhm.
I told her, Mommy, I love you. I said, Mommy, I thank you for taking care of me, for bringing me into this world. I said, I thank you for taking care of my sons. I said, I thank you for taking care of your all of us, my my your sons and me as your daughter. I said, you did everything a mother could do. You raised us the right way. You brought us to a place to know God for ourselves. And I said, you did everything for us. And I want to say thank you. And you know what? She was listening. I saw that she
Definitely.
was listening. She was listening and she understood everything I was saying. And because of that, she went home peacefully. And I said, Mommy, if you have to go, go and be with Daddy and go and be with your God. I said, we're going to be all right. We're going to be fine because you instill some things within us to make us live on. And I said, thank you, not knowing that the next day she was going to transition. The second day in January, of 2018. That's when she transitioned. So I'm grateful to God that I made my peace and I said what I had to say to her.
Mhm.
And I know that she went home with a peaceful heart, knowing that her children will be okay. Because I didn't want her to suffer anymore, suffer in her mind, I didn't want her to suffer being in the bed and can't do anything. So I was at peace, and God brought me through, took me through, and I'm here 4 years later, 3, 4 years later, I'm still here. I can still speak peacefully about who she is and who she was to us as a family, as my mother, as my friend. I miss her. I'm not gonna say that I don't, but I miss her very much. I miss my shopping partner.
Hey, Bobbie,
But I agree with you that
can stay.
when they know it's about time to leave, if you talk to them and all, it helps them. They and the same with my mother. Um, she didn't know my name, but I stayed there that one night and I said, I'm not leaving until you say my name. And finally, when she said, Bobbie, what are you doing here? I said, I came to see you, Mom. And she died a couple days later. But it's just that if they know they're being loved and cared for and that you're doing the best you can and that you're going to be okay, that's the important thing. That they understand that you're going to be okay, that they can leave you and feel at peace.
Exactly. Thank you so much for you to share today. And then our caregiver section gonna come with end for now. And we may come back for you to come back again for another section. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And
Thank
thank you, Dr. Austin.
Yeah, I keep
Thank you so
that.
much.
Stay in touch.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
we will. Yes, 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 yes. Take care. Bye bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.